It breaks my heart that a woman was evicted from her apartment, not to her knowledge, but the fact is because of the provider was scamming the system.
There is life and death impact for our state's most vulnerable. And as you heard Senator Hoffman discussing the all-new Care 11 investigation, finding that disabled Minnesotans are being kicked out of their homes.
A lot of the testimony mirrors exactly what our investigation found. Disabled Minnesotans abandoned amid the social services fraud crisis as caregivers disappear, rent goes unpaid, and vulnerable people ask where they're going to lay their head.
Minnesota's fraud crisis came knocking.
We're here for the eviction.
Janelle Hansen, she goes by Sky, lived in a Minnetonka apartment when sheriff's deputies arrived.
I'm scared.
Armed with an eviction order for Jane or John Doe.
I'm not Jane or John Doe. That's what's confusing.
Sky lived here as part of a Medicaid program called Integrated Community Supports, or ICS. It's designed to help adults with disabilities live independently in their own apartment with one-to-one daily assistant. They were billing Sky's Medicaid $421 per day, claiming they always provided 12 hours of service.
Most days was like 2 hours maybe. 1 or 2 hours.
Under investigation, the company and its owner, Jama Mohamod, stopped paying rent.
Myself and everybody that resides here is left on their own.
Months before, Kelly told us she was paying just $60 a month for her apartment. Her provider, Ultimate Home Health Services, covered the difference and was billing her Medicaid for services Kelly said she wasn't getting.
With ICS settings.
This is the results of Tim Walz and the entire administration allowing this fraud to go as long as it has been. We've been covering Minnesota fraud for months now, and every time I think I've seen the worst of it, another story drops that makes me question if there's any bottom to this situation. So this story, we're gonna talk about a woman with autism that gets evicted from her apartment by sheriff's deputies even though she paid her rent. Her so-called caregiver was billing Medicaid $12,630 a month, claiming they provided 12 hours of daily services. Most days it was just 2 hours. And the company's owner operating out of his Maple Grove mansion with an indoor basketball court. Let's get into it.
She was ordered to pack up what she could carry.
Grab what you've just packed because we need to exit the apartment now.
And get out.
No, we need to go. Come on.
Okay.
We need to go.
Let's go. How are you?
Go.
Okay, sorry.
Out to the hallway.
And like that, a vulnerable young woman put on the street.
Buy house. Buy house. What's about all?
How could this have happened?
So you see a little bit of the video here. This is a story by a woman that she goes by the name of Sky. She's a woman with autism living in Minnesota. And it was supposed to be in a supportive household situation through something called Integrated Community Supports Program, ICS for short. Now, ICS is one of those Medicaid programs that we keep talking about. Launched in 2021 to help disabled adults live independently. Great idea, right? It started at $4.6 million a year. And then by 2025, it was nearly $180 million. That's a 40-time increase in just 4 years. Sky's provider was a company called American Home Health Care LLC, owned by this guy right here. And here's the problem here. She did pay her rent. Company didn't pay the building. Building evicts everyone. Sky ends up homeless. So in June 2025, this is where the deputies show up. They're here for eviction. Sky is confused because the eviction order says Jane or John Doe. She's literally standing there with her lease in hand trying to explain that she's current on rent. But the deputies tell her to grab what you've just packed and you have to leave the building right now. And she's been homeless ever since.
Our investigation finds it's tied to the allegations of Medicaid fraud now rocking Minnesota.
We've documented Sky's life of homelessness for the past 8 months, living out of her car, tents, shelters, and cheap hotels.
I think I just got kicked out of the hotels for being too autistic.
Her former caregivers, American Home Health Care LLC, are under investigation for fraud. They were billing Sky's Medicaid $421 per day, claiming they always provided 12 hours of service.
Most days was like 2 hours maybe. 1 or 2 hours.
Under investigation, the company and its owner, Jama Mohamod, stopped paying rent.
Okay, let's go. Come on. Here you go. Push this.
So Sky got evicted. Just one of the vulnerable people paying the price through no fault of their own for Minnesota's fraud crisis. Thrown onto the street, homeless.
They say that your home is in your heart.
So let's talk numbers, because this is where things get really, really messed up. It gets really disgusting. American Home Health Care was billing Medicaid $421 every single day for Sky. Every single day. They claimed they were providing 12 hours of daily services. Sky says most days were probably just 2 hours. $421 a day times 30 days equals to about $12,000 per person for services they were not providing. So Sky has a neighbor in the same building by the name of Kane Pierce. He's a disabled man. He walks with a cane and has severe vision issues. His story was even worse. Pace was getting billed $276 per day, claiming nearly 8 hours of service. He said he received 0 services for months. And here's the issue here. And Pence had receipts. He had geotagged timestamp photographs proving that he wasn't even at his apartment on the days that the company billed for services. A weekend retreat in Wisconsin was billed. A trip to Iowa was billed. The Minnesota Department of Human Services did a licensing inspection. They confirmed Pace's claims. American Home Health Care was billing for services on dates where clients were literally out of the state. The dates match Pence photos. For Pence alone, they billed about $75,000 in 10 months. He estimates that there were roughly 12 disabled residents in that building, all generating daily payments, none getting services. They tried to reach this dude to say, hey, what's going on here? They left messages, and apparently he lives in a really high-end home in Maple Grove, where apparently it's a home with an indoor basketball court. He had no response to this story. When you look at the timeline, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Pence reported fraud allegations to the Department of Human Services. DHS does their licensing inspections. They find violations. They issue a correction order on August 27, 2025. Meanwhile, the American Home Health Care gets evicted from an apartment complex for not paying rent. That's what triggers Sky's eviction in June. When does DHS suspend payments to American Home Health Care? Same day Pence publicly testifies at a legislative hearing. So let me get this straight. They had evidence of fraud. They had an eviction showing the company wasn't paying rent while collecting Medicaid payments. They had vulnerable people literally being thrown out into the streets. And they waited until someone testified publicly before cutting off the money. That timeline doesn't make a lot of sense. Despite being under investigation for fraud, despite the payment suspension, no criminal charges have been filed against this guy or his company.
A lot of the testimony mirrors exactly what our investigation found. Disabled Minnesotans abandoned amid the social services fraud crisis as caregivers disappear, rent goes unpaid, and vulnerable people ask where they're going to lay their head.
Myself and everybody that resides here is left on their own.
Months before, Kelly told us she was paying just $60 a month for her apartment. Her provider, Ultimate Home Health Services, covered the difference and was billing her Medicaid for services Kelly said she wasn't getting.
With ICS settings, we have seen time after time that they are in these apartment complexes. They're getting housing, but they are not getting any services.
Following a federal raid on the company's headquarters, they quit paying rent. The vulnerable people living in their facility were told they needed to get out.
We have a plan for prepayment review processes. We have a plan for payment pauses. We have payment for when our systems are failing, but we do not have a plan to care for people.
The real takeaway here, though, Rena, is that some of our states' most vulnerable people are being thrown into the street through no fault of their own.
This is what the U.S. Attorney was talking about when he said there is industrial scale fraud. The ICS program went from $1.6 million in 2021 to nearly $180 million in 2025. That's why people believe that there's about $9 billion in fraud across the 14 high-risk Medicaid programs since 2018. And now you see the real human costs. People dying because of the situations going on. In this story, they talk about a man by the name of Rick Clemmer, another ICS client. He died from a medical emergency in his apartment. Nobody was around to call 911. His provider, Ultimate Home Health Services, was billing for 12 hours of daily care. Their employee admitted they only checked on him once a day. These programs allowed providers to bill hundreds of dollars per day, often $100,000 to $200,000 per year per client. And when there's no oversight, when there's no consequences, when the state waits months to act, even after finding violations, what do you think happens? Sky is still homeless. She's still trying to get the eviction expunged from her records so she could find housing. An eviction that happened because her caregiver pocketed the rent money while billing taxpayers over $12,000 a month. This is the Minnesota fraud story in a nutshell. Programs designed to help the most vulnerable get hijacked by scammers and people operating out of $1 million homes. The state has all the evidence they need, but still doesn't make a move. And by the time anyone faces consequences, if they ever do, the victims are already on the streets. It's sad and pathetic, and it shows that the people who are running Minnesota are not protecting the people of Minnesota. But let me know what you guys think about this story in the comments below. And you're still watching this video to the very end, hit that subscribe button. Thank you for taking time to watch this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video.